So I've been wanting to make this video for a while explaining the changes that I've had on hormone therapy from month 1 to now hitting almost a year. And the misconceptions that we have about hormone therapy and the things that people think are going to change and that don't. Before I do explain everything, I do want to say that every transition is different. So one person can experience fast results, another person can take a while to get results. It's just the way it works. Um, so with that being said, uh, from a month until about 6 months, I was on 200 milligrams of spirulactone twice a day, and I was on 2 milligrams of estrogen 2 times a day. And the spirulactone itself takes about 4 to 6 months to kick in. And that being said, you will not see changes because the spirulactone has not kicked in. The spirulactone will just stop the testosterone being made in the body. Once that happens, the estrogen just like takes over. And that's when you'll get the effects and see the effects that you want. So within the first 2 months, the main changes and experience that I had was first emotionally. I had mood swings like no other. I still have them to this day. You can go from being angry to happy to sad back to angry within a minute. And that's normal. It sucks, but hold yourself together. I cried one day because someone cut me off in traffic. And I don't mean like small crying, I mean sobbing my eyes out. So it's a thing where you have to remember that you are delicate at that point. It's new, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. The second change within the first 3 months, I would say as well, is your appetite's going to change. Your body is going to crave things like salt and vinegar. And don't not feed your cravings. Feed your cravings because that is your body telling you that it needs this. And like most trans women I know, especially me, crave pickles. A jar of pickles will make you happy. Eating them, drinking the pickle juice. So remember that your cravings are something you should not fight. You should eat what your body is telling you to eat, as long as it is fully healthy. I can't tell you, one day I was in the kitchen and I opened the fridge and I smelled mustard. And it was like, for the rest of the 3 weeks, I wanted mustard. Mustard with chips, mustard on sandwiches, mustard on this, mustard on that. So you will get weird cravings at weird times. And the only other thing that I noticed in the first 3 months was my skin got soft. And that was something that I noticed physically at first. Your face will get soft, you'll feel your hands get soft, and it'll be weird, but you will notice it. Just pay attention to that because that's just the estrogen and the spirulactone kicking in. Within about, I think at the second month to about the 6th month is when my breast growth started. So the bud developed and you could feel it. It hurt for a little bit to like lay flat. It was a little pain. It wasn't like, dying urge pain, but it was just like, you didn't want to lay flat on your chest and go to sleep. You had to lay on your back. They're going to feel hard. You're going to have to wait for the bud to pop, whatever it's called. I didn't really understand that, but I experienced it. So, breast growth was the first thing, other than my skin getting soft, that I noticed, but it was small. But it was something huge to me because I saw it for fronts, because it took a while. Those first 2 months, you just sit there and you're like, nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. And then when you start to get the breast growth, you're kind of like, okay, it's happening. So about 4 to 6 months, I got moved up to 6 milligrams of estrogen a day. And I was still at 200 milligrams of spirulactone. And I was taking 3 pills a day for estrogen. So it was a bunch of pills everywhere. And around the 6th month, I realized that I started gaining weight. I used to weigh 120. At this point, I finally hit 130. And for me, that was an accomplishment because it took me forever to hit 120. So to finally hit 130 was this moment because I couldn't gain weight. And I noticed that this weight wasn't going to, my stomach, it wasn't going to my legs. It was going to the three places you'd want fat to go: your butt, your breast, and your hips. And I wish I paid more attention to all that, because it was like one day I just like realized I had a bigger butt, slighter, bigger butt, and I was getting fatter on my hips. So, pay attention to that. Realize your growth, because those will change. Estrogen will help direct that fat where it needs to go, and it will feel more like accomplishment when you realize that it is going to where it needs to be. So that was the change that I've kind of felt during the 4th to 6th month, was the fat ratio going to where fat needed to be, or you want it to be. Everybody probably doesn't want it there. And then for about 6 months to now, I've noticed, my hair growth has gotten real fast. My breast growth is getting bigger every month. It's a different size. So now it's actually gaining more. And just my mood swings. At this point, when you hit that 6-month mark to a year, you're still changing, but you feel more stern with the changes. And your body is now developed to here, it just grows on. And I think a big thing that hit me was the other day I was walking outside, and I realized, I was like, I'm about to hit a year. And when you're at that first month and you take your first pill, you realize, like, okay, this is the beginning. And then you meet girls that are at the year mark, and you're like, wow, that's where I want to be. And she is so, like, look at her, she's so far ahead, she's doing great, she looks great, she's been doing it for so long, I can't wait to be like her. And then when you get to that year mark, I just thought, there's more to be done. Your transition never stops. Just because someone's at a year mark doesn't mean that they're done. You're never done. That's just a mile mark, and you should celebrate every mile mark in a good way. And you should remember every mile mark, because you will be different every time. So you will change every year, no matter what. Something new, something will change. I just know that from the first month to now, I'm very shocked with the results. I thought I wouldn't have that many, but I'm glad that I've gotten what I've gotten. I'm grateful for it. Now, for the misconceptions that people have about hormone therapy, sorry, I'm sorry to swallow for some reason. One thing is that people think it's going to change your voice. Hormone therapy for trans women, it doesn't change your voice. It doesn't. Your voice might be, a little bit, just a little, but it's not going to make your voice high pitch. You're going to be at the same note. You can do voice therapy. You could do, when you get, trying to shave and all of that, it could affect the voice, and you can have a high pitched voice. But hormone therapy will not affect your voice. Another thing is that it does not kick in the first month. I had a lot of people, and seen a lot of videos, people, talk about, well, I didn't get the, effects I wanted, and they only did 3 months. In order to transition, you have to be patient. You need to realize that it's going to take time. It's going to be a journey that you have to sit down and breathe and make sure that A, you're fine, and B, that you're ready. Another misconception that I hear that I had was body hair. Estrogen and spironolactone will cause your body hair to kind of lighten, but it's still going to grow where it grows. It may not be as much, but you're still going to have body hair. If you didn't have body hair before transitioning, God has blessed you. You now have less body hair, and you get to transition, nothing's going to happen. You won't have body hair. But if you had body hair before, you will have body hair during. Only if you did electrolysis. I did electrolysis on my face. I plan on trying to do my legs. But it doesn't affect body hair whatsoever. And that was something that I thought it would. I thought, oh, great, I won't have to worry about body hair. You do. Another misconception that I tend to hear girls do is height. yes, it could affect your height. I have one friend who said her daughter did say she's short, but just because you think it will, it probably won't. If you're a tall woman, you're a tall woman, and be proud of that fact. You know, every woman's different, so please don't expect it to change your height or for you to grow taller if you're short, which I don't know why you would want to do that, but that's just me. Um, Another thing I didn't expect actually was the fat in the face. My face has actually got a little wider than it was, um, but that was the only thing I wasn't expecting. But it feels like minimal changes. However, it's amazing. You know, I don't take anything for granted. It takes forever, and you just have to be patient with it. And just remember that everyone is different. I do this. I have a friend who's a little far ahead of me in her transition, and we've had different outcomes. The same thing has happened, but one of us has bigger breasts, one of us doesn't, one of us has bigger hips, one of us has, you know, more slimmed out face. It is different for everyone. And before you transition, make sure that you take what you call a female and throw it that way. Because it is not what you should look towards to, because every woman is different. And I think we put this idea in our head of what a woman is, you know, beautiful, blonde, you know, she's 5'4", she's, you know, got the nice face, the big butt, the big hips, the big breast. Every woman is different. Cis women, trans women, we are all different no matter what. And what you call a woman could be different from someone else. So just remember that what you get is what you are as a woman. You don't have to meet somebody else's standards. You just have to meet your standards and make sure you are happy. And that's really what this is about, transitioning, is to make you finally happy, to feel complete. And I feel 110% better and complete from transitioning. Starting transitioning, I feel more of myself than I ever have. I feel more confident. I feel complete. So I recommend, you know, before transitioning, take a minute and prepare yourself. Make sure you know what you're doing, and make sure you're doing it with a doctor. Please don't try to do estrogen alone. However, so now that I'm hitting a year, I'm doing the estrogen shot. So now I do 0.25 milliliters once a week into a muscle, and I only have to do that once a week. I still take spironolactone 2 times a day, but I only do the shot once a week. And I'm excited to see the changes. I'm glad that I got to, you know, do this big move, because it's something I wanted to do for a while, because I heard this shot could work faster. I don't know. So I'm excited to see this time next year how everything has changed. If you're interested in how I do the shot, you can comment. You can follow me on Instagram and message me on Instagram saying, hey, I'd like to see how you do the shot, and I'll put a video up. If there's any questions, like about how I live my life, anything you want to know about dating advice, how I came out to my family, I'll be more than happy to share it. Just comment, subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram and message me on Instagram if you feel.